Alright, back at it. Haven't played A for a few... haven't been at this for a few days, just haven't been up to it, though I have been messing around with, just things I wouldn't normally play in, like bullet chess, just to feel things out a little bit. But haven't been back at the normal play for a little, but, and probably still not up for it, but gotta keep it going. So I've got something set up here, just show how I might review openings. So I'm looking at a just straight playing the Benoni up front. So, main line would look something like that, and then you play e5. Then you just start to close it up. Then you could have a semi-closed, or you could have it fully closed here and throw up the c4. Then eventually it just becomes about throwing up one of these to break through the center later on. There's a whole lot of review on the Benoni up front. Gotta kind of feel it out. G3 apparently. Wonder how much that's going to be played. A lot of maneuvering back here on the back lines, but what I did want to look at are the weird responses to the Benoni. Like, knight f3. I think knight f6 is actually the most common, but probably by transposition. Percentages like take, and take seems like the point. It says d5. To me, the most natural thing would be knight c6. I mean, I'm not really bothered by a trade. Of course, I guess that allows c3 and you sort of transpose. So I guess d4 is how you avoid that. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Fighting like a reverse Benoni. Move the knight first. Close it, and then he doesn't have the d6 pawn. Alright. Ideas. So one of the prep that I wanted to show the other day but didn't have this set up is if in the Queen's Gambit accepted and they play bishop, pin the knight so that the knight can attack, just let it happen. Now there's two variations. The knight could take immediately or the bishop could trade off. Both have similar results. So say we do that so that they can then sack another pawn. So take, rook. This ends up being pretty good. We've got a rook out. We are castled. We got the, bishop's got an open line. We're pointing out. It's fairly aggressive. And it's hard to play right for black. Quickly becomes difficult. So if you play something natural like castles, Queen d3, you're forcing the bishop back to a5, and then knight g5 becomes a problem. You've got only one move to prevent checkmate here on h7, so if you play g6, you just swing the queen around. Again, you have one move, h5, and then g4. And you can see how the numbers start shooting up. It's a winning advantage. So you can't take, because if you take, then checkmate. So you have to do something else. I think queen f6 is the best defense option. You've got to get your queen in here to defend. So you can still take. Again, we got defended by the bishop. Don't want to take back. That becomes really bad really fast, as you can see by the numbers. Funnily enough, king h1, so we can play a rook over. So you can see how that puts just a ton of pressure. There's also the other direction, which is bishop takes, castles, bishop, take. Which is less interesting because your queen back, queen d5 kind of kills that. Yeah, you go for the attacking, you just go back. But what you want to do in these cases is you might go up queen d and start trying to block off castling if he doesn't go for castling right away. But I don't really remember the knight line. Maybe I didn't look at it too much at that angle, because why would you do that? This is queen b3, knight d5, and then bishop a3. f6 would be really weird. This blocks off the bishop, preventing check. But then if you take and you go back, then d5. If he takes, bishop takes. You can't take because you're pinned. If you castle, and you take, and bring the other rook into it. Very clean, isn't it? Of course, as I mentioned, you don't have to take immediately. I've actually seen this. So here, you don't want to castle. That's a little slow. Queen d3 immediately. So there's two directions here. One would be, knight straight back, in which case, again, you go for that blocking check, which is really annoying. It's not as interesting, but it's really annoying. Knight back forces the bishop back. It looks passive, but now the knight's not here to defend. So if, for example, castles, we're back in this scenario. Right, you got one move, swing the queen over, lacking the defender here. One move, whoops. Same deal. So we're back into that. Same with knight c. And those are the two most intuitive moves. Of course, you can play this better, but you'd have to play something weird or know this line, or be way better than your rating suggests. And one of the nice things about this is also transposes. So if you have this scenario, oh look, we've transposed. So we're back in the same position as the Queen's Gambit accepted. So that's fun. All right, but with that, let's get into it. See what we can do. d4, d5, c4. All right, classical. Find that so boring. I should have taken the move before. I should look at that variation more, just because it's annoying. All right. The alignment's a little off here. I have to go here. All right, move back if takes, open up the file. Now I'll take. So I'm looking, if I go here, he can push, take, and take back. Bunch of trading. But that's fine. Okay, maybe here and rook. Or maybe not the A rook, maybe the F rook cross. Queen C2, rook F D1. Align. Yeah, if I have a rook here, align with the queen. You also have a rook on E1. It's got nothing other than trying to push pawns. Let's continue with our plan. Though I guess you can play. Whoops, play here. So let's actually prevent that knight infiltration. I'm looking at take, pawn push, take, Let's go for it. Weird, there's only one move here. Unless I'm being completely silly. Can I? I'm looking at checking if there's any way I can move the rook over. Could rook here, take, pawn, take, take. Take, take. Of course, if I just move back, he needs another defender of the pawn. If I go here, take, 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 take. But with the bishop on that diagonal, it would be hard to be on F. Go here, 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 threatening with bishop. Back. Let's keep it simple. These are all lined up, so it's like prime for a pawn fork. Here, here. I mean, he's just desperate to do this. It seems to be all he's trying to do. Okay, just trade some... Oh, well, I screwed that up. I just hung the queen for no reason. Server restarting in 6 minutes, so let's look at the openings. And take, take. Alright, F. Let's see. G3. Right. Yeah, that's fair enough. Now it says 35 minutes, so I guess we'll go back to it. right. Looking at playing d5 to close up the center. And he solves my problem for me. Just to close off this diagonal. Okay. So gonna want to prep an onslaught here on the queen side. Not planning on castling this game. Let's see. Take, knight. Yeah. Gonna do that now. I've just been forgetting about the defense of that pawn lately for some stupid reason. God, that's just destroying the whole position. This game's lost. I can just go in there. So, whoops. Threaten. Okay. This is undefended right now. Take. That's the idea. take, and then the bishop's hanging. So he has to defend it. Probably rook. Well, he has to move the bishop and actually first. Been waiting on just pushing that. Probably go back to c1. Oh, he takes with the bishop. Okay. In that case, do I care about taking with... Yeah, I have to take with... bring the rook over, though I expect him to bring his rook over first. But if he does that, check and win a pawn. Push, push, take. Push, check. That's a long way to go for that, plus the pawn's still there. So I can move that across to threaten winning a pawn. Check. Has to move here or here. And then bishop in. Threatening check again. If I bring the rook over, yeah. It's really weird to move the rook over because it suggests like pushing this pawn, but if it takes, if you take back, you win there. Okay, here we go. Now there's a couple different ways to go about this. I can check and win this pawn, which is probably the right idea. I can check with the bishop. Knight can't move, or I take here. So that means he has to move here. And then I can go up if I'm not threatening anything. Take this pawn. It's basically which one is he going to? So he goes to the far one, which I think is worse. Oh, no, can't. Let's look at sack opportunities, but it's too defended with the knight and rook. Alright, let's take our piece. Let's take our pawn. Knight is pinned right now. Now he can push up. This pawn's not pinned anymore. take, knight. If he decides to go that route. This bishop's going to be able to infiltrate in a moment, which will be really good. I don't know if there's anything you can do to help that. Maybe like rook down so the king can retreat and the rook can get into the defense of that knight. Got him thinking, at least. Got him thinking. Frankly, if I win any game today, that's a big plus. I'm not coming in feeling very clear-headed, so let's see if we can try and convert this one. Even material, but I mean, this here feels pretty good. This pawn is a monster right now because this is blocking up the position. Queen's stuck here. King here might actually be, yeah. King g6 might actually be an idea. My main consideration here is bishop takes b6. Once I do that, I'll have 3 attackers on the knight with just the 2 defenders. So he needs to add a defender or get out of the pin. So I feel like that's probably the right move, is getting out of the pin. Then you threaten like fall up here. So if you get out of the pin, then I can take the pawn at least. Take a lot of time. Of course, it's the threat here. Okay, so he goes for the move I suggested initially. So if I take check, pawn takes pawn. Does that work? Take, push. No, the bishop opens up. So I can't do that. So bishop takes, knight, so, bishop, king moves. Well, that still seems like a good idea. The king moves, I can still get up here. Yeah. Let's just keep the pin on the knight, because right now the knight is pinned to the queen. Okay. Looked at that before. I'm fine taking. Do I want to go back or back? If I go back pawn, I'd have to take, which I don't really want to do. I'd rather push it up. If I go here, then... Actually, no, I can do that. I can do that. Knight's pinned. Have to keep in mind the queen movements are available, but it's tough to make yet. Okay. I can just move over. There's actually no way out. One more time. Just being annoying. That loses a pawn. Okay. I mean, that's not threatening anything. Now I'm threatening the knight and the queen. Knight's pinned, by the way. I presume the queen needs to go back to a6. Though, actually, that would just hang the knight. Alright. I should be able to just take. If he takes back, check. Queen, check. Now there's that as well right now. It's okay. Okay. I could take this pawn, but if I stay on the diagonal, then I can actually no, the queen there. All right. Keep it simple. Okay, let's trade. Now we castle. Now we skewer. Alright. Alright. More trades. Check. Alright. Okay. Hey. Alright, the server keeps warning about restarting, so I never know when I'm going to get cut off, so let's stop it there. This guy in a little bit, despite my weariness.